So a lot of humans think that they are part of the ecosystem, which is very, very untrue. In fact, every human that has a child is actually contributing to the destruction of the planet and society as we know it. So I've heard people say, I've had a child, I've done my bit for humanity. Yes, you've done your bit for humanity by actually destroying the planet and putting humanity at risk, because I believe we've now reached a tipping point with human population, over 8 billion now, where things are getting really bad environmentally. The weather's getting worse, rising temperatures, rising tides, etc., etc. But to the point where people say that humans should act like animals in nature. Like, you talk about vegans, I'll give you an example, like plant-based diet, we're killing all these animals. There's a cuckoo stone there, look. Cuckoo stone. So they say that humans are like, they're like crocodiles, they're like sharks, they're like dolphins. They all eat other fish and other animals. That justifies humans doing it. But what the thing is, humans breed animals into existence, artificially inseminate animals into existence, non-consensual. You've got to be careful what you say on YouTube, because you get cancelled for telling the truth. They are living in not too good conditions. That's an understatement. Factory farming, etc. And I think a lot of people know that. Watch Dominion Animal Rights on YouTube. Type it in, Dominion Animal Rights on YouTube, and watch what happens to animals. But most humans compare their habits and they justify their habits. Maybe conditioning, who knows, from our parents and everything. You've got to eat meat and dairy and eggs and fish for health, which is the opposite. It's actually detrimental for your health. And they liken a true carnivore, which is only 25% of the global populations of nature's animals, and it's all for balance, to keep everyone in balance so no one overbreeds, unlike humans who have totally overbred and taken over the planet and destroyed the planet, with the whole ego thing going on. And they think they're right. The thing is, these mad humans, the egotistical, insane humans, actually think that they're right. They think it's their God right to overtake this planet, use it for their own needs, destroy everything on it, including all animals and nature, and constrict them to one tiny part. We'll allow nature for this little square half a mile, and that will be good. And they're like, yes, aren't we good for doing that? And basically that premise, that idea that if humans didn't exist and weren't around on planet Earth, then nature wouldn't thrive, which is quite astounding, isn't it? The ego. But yeah, going back to the point, we are nothing to do with nature. We are nothing to do with nature. We are apart from nature. We're nothing to do with nature. If we were like tribes eating fruits with seeds and then pooing the seeds out, and then the seeds grow, that will kind of be a circle of life, which is basically plants want to be eaten, so that you poo the seeds out and the seeds grow into another thriving tree or bush or whatever, a fruit tree. Okay, so look at this little doggy here. Look at this doggy. Look at this doggy. He likes it. Look, he's off. So we're not a part of nature, we're apart from nature. So justifying your habits towards buying animal products should not justify that in the terms of nature. If that makes sense. You can't say that you're like nature. It's just it's an insane concept of an idea. We're nothing to do with nature. I mean, look at this. I'm on a phone. I'm wearing clothes. I'm wearing a hat. I'm wearing a shirt. What animal does that? What animal does that? What animal drinks pesticide in the form of coffee or caffeine or whatever? What animal does that? No animal is crazy enough to do that. No animal drinks boiling water. No animal cooks their food. We are nothing to do with nature. We're destroying nature. We're nothing to do with nature. And it's so frustrating when people say, okay, well, whales eat fish. Why can't I eat fish? A crocodile eats flesh. Why can't I eat flesh? A lion eats a gazelle. Why can't I eat a pig? That kind of thing. It's a very low IQ comment. It's from someone that hasn't looked into things, hasn't gone deeply into something, a subject, and they're just tipping on the surface. They've never kind of looked into the industries. They've never seen how cruel it is, you know. And no, everyone's against cruelty. Everyone's against cruelty, but they don't align their actions with what they believe. And it is frustrating because, you know, there's all the suffering that's going on and the justifications, and when's that going to end? People are justifying it without having an open mind, without doing the research. Then how are we going to improve? And it all goes back to that self-improvement. You know, am I being ethical, moral? You know, because animals in nature, they can't change. They haven't got vegan products. They can't go to a supermarket. We can go to a supermarket and buy ethical, moral products, plant meats, legumes, potatoes, pasta. We can have curries, we can have pizza, we can have roasts, but just without the animal products. It tastes just better. It tastes better than having a dead corpse, a secretion with blood and pus in it. Milk has got blood and pus. The cows get mastitis, and people are like, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Right, okay. I'll stick to having beans, like squeezed beans. That will do me. But anyway, it's quite frustrating when people do that. But you know, it's all about the education. It's very slow. The education, and it's not I want to be bigger or better. It's just that we, as a vegan, as a vegan activist, I think I can say it for everybody, we want to see the end of suffering. We want to see the end of breeding animals into existence, sentient animals that suffer for fun and greed. You know, that's what we want to see an end of. So when we say leave the animals alone, it means stop breeding animals. Stop breeding animals for the pet trade, the food trade, quote unquote, the fashion industries, the testing, and all these industries that cause immense suffering to sentient beings, baby animals. And that's the truth. And people getting cancelled for telling the truth, cancelled and punished for telling the truth. And that is very, very wrong.